Mental Health Monday
on Radio City Talk
with Mick Coyle.
Tackling the stigma.
Radio City Talk.
And welcome to another edition of Mental Health Monday. My name is Mick Coyle. Thank you for checking out the programme today, and thanks for listening on Radio City Talk. We have got a really great guest in the studio who's going to be talking about his personal experience in regard to his own mental health, but also mental health of family members, plus how he's turning that around and how he's trying to make a difference through the organisation and the company that he works for. We welcome to the studio all the way from Southport. We've got Ryan Armitage on the programme. Ryan, it's great to see you. Thank you for your time. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
It's fair to say in the last, well, I'll say probably decade, certainly 8 years or so, you and the family have had a difficult time for various different reasons as well, and I think it's going to be great that you're able to share that journey with us, to give us a sense about where you come from, but also where you're going to go and how you're trying to turn those negative things that happen to you into positives as well. And there was a cancer diagnosis, wasn't there, in 2011 that kind of kicked off this tough decade. Yeah,
Dad got diagnosed with bowel cancer. I can't remember the exact month it was, but 10 years ago, and then from there he got diagnosed with Parkinson's after the operations, and now he's got Parkinson's dementia. So we've had that going through the family business since then. And then also learning to deal with cancer, then learning to deal with Parkinson's and learning that. But then I think the biggest thing was my brother last year. I probably skipped quite a bit there, but my brother last year in October, is coming up to his anniversary, he actually took his own life. So learning to deal with a lot of different things that impact a family and a business.
And I guess because you run a family business, that actually your family isn't just the family in one door and then the business is in another door.
You live it.
You live in the whole. You've lived that whole experience day by day.
Yeah.
Through every day, getting up, dealing with the situation with your dad, and obviously with your brother as well.
Yeah, it's like it just crosses over, doesn't it? So there's no stop to my end of my working day, or the weekend doesn't count. The whole thing's mixed together. But when it's a family-run business as well, when my dad was in the business, then isn't in the business, and now my brother's in the business, it's just me and my mum, and learning to deal with that. But then opening it up to thinking about who work for us, and then also we've got 20 franchises across the UK as well, so it's expanding that throughout that work, how you think about your employees, and that's one of the things I'm trying to get people, well, I've started pushing across the company. We used to be called 24/7 Fresh Health, now we're called Tezlom. There's a big thing behind that, but Tezlom stands for Tom and Les, which is my mother and my dad. And then we sort of got that ethos going throughout the company. We've changed all the franchises, and we want to talk to, I've been talking to all the franchisees about how they treat the staff, not just in terms of like being on work on time, your work ethic, and getting the job done. It's like if you've got something going on at home, or you've got something going on yourself, being able to talk to your boss and just let it out there, and the boss isn't going to say, right, okay, we're going to get rid of you, or you shouldn't be in work, or any negative things. It's just basically having an open. We've always had an open door policy as a family business, because I think it's the best way to run it. So you can walk into Mum's office or my office and Tom's office before he took his own life and be able to say whatever you've got going on at home. But now I'm really conscious that every franchise does that, and anyone can say, look, I've got a problem with my boyfriend at the minute, he's got a drug addiction, or my mum's not so well at the minute, it's really affecting me, and not the case with, oh, we're going to go on the sick and all that sort of stuff. It's just being able to talk that through so you can still come to work, because a lot of people find work as a safe haven, don't they, actually? So you go to work and it helps you clear your mind, but if you could have a 20-minute conversation with someone at work who's a manager that understands that isn't going to go to town on you, it's just you get it off your chest. I think that's the sort of ethos we're trying to bring in.
I mean, it's such a great shame that you've had to go through the experience that you've had
to highlight it,
to then, obviously then offer that opportunity to other people as well. Was it after losing Tom that you thought, oh, actually, we need to be part of the change. We need to be part of the difference that can help other people? Yeah,
for me, it was, I sort of understood what Tom's challenges were. He had addiction challenges and probably had some underlying mental health issues that never really came to life. But there's a lot I could probably go into massively about addiction with you. But what people don't understand is that's the problem. And if you don't understand it and you aren't aware of what can be going on in people's lives, then it's a real problem. And that's what I want to, like, to businesses or people who have a business or a manager or something. If you aren't aware of what's going on in society with drug addictions, alcohol addictions, social media, and you don't accept that that's going to be a thing, then you really need to get yourself educated, because it's going to cause problems for you later on. You know, you can't even be a parent. Think about it now. So 7-year-olds have iPhones now. You know, 8-year-olds have iPhones. If you dismiss Instagram and Snapchat and you think it's a farce, by the time your kid's 11 years old, they'll have an Instagram account, if you like it or not. And if you dismiss it and don't take it seriously, it could become a problem.
But I guess as well, you know, if you are a business, it might be quite, you know, tempting to, you know, hire people based on tick boxing, a piece of paper, a CV. Here you go, give me the job. But actually, what you're talking about there is that people are human beings, and we've got to treat people like human beings.
Yeah.
If you're, you know, an employee, you've got to understand that your boss is also a human being. But if you're an employer, you're working with people who have got lives. And you know what? The stuff in their lives is probably more important than the job they're doing for you. Because it's about their kids or their family members.
I think sometimes it gives... I quite like... This is madness, right? But I quite enjoy people who had stuff going on in their life, because you become a bit more emotionally intelligent. So if someone's a bit more emotionally intelligent and understand what's going on and think they've had some trauma in their life, I feel like they're a bit deeper and help. If someone else is going through that trauma, you can help them get through that. So I'm all right with people who've been through it, employees or whatever as well. So I sort of look for it on the CV.
But I think that there's something for that. But there'd be plenty of people who they may have gone through addiction, maybe losing someone to suicide. They wouldn't think of ever putting that on a CV or even mention it, because they think that the stigma of it was that they too are a potential risk to themselves or to you or to the business. And for that reason, they go, well, this has happened, but
I want to hide it.
I want to hide it as well. Can you tell me about the experience losing someone so close to you through suicide? Obviously the personal link, but the business link as well. Often people on the program talk about the stigma around it, about people responding in odd ways, in antisocial ways, if you like. What
you mean to someone being someone? Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm all right with that. But some people, it feels like a generational thing to me. Some people find it really difficult to talk about. Some people don't understand it, and I think you've just got to try and explain it to people. That's that. My answer to your question is, that I do find some people find it difficult to talk about, and it's a real response, depending on the age, I think, sometimes.
When you then sort of respond by being very open about it, do they show signs of almost relief that they can go, well...
Yeah, you wouldn't believe the amount of people come to me with stuff. It's mad. You know, because I'm an open book about it, I really don't care. I will talk to you about pretty much anything you want to talk about. People open up to you, and it's kind of I quite like it, because, again, it's just raising awareness. Being able to talk about anything freely, I think it helps a lot of people, because people are looking for that. Thank God for that. I can talk to him about it, because I know he's not going to judge me. I know he's going to try and solve it for me. He's not going to tell me off. He's just going to, help me talk it through.
But isn't it interesting that actually we talk about the emotional intelligence that people bring to the table if they've had one of those experiences? That if there's a way which you could teach people
to be emotionally intelligent,
so that they could have those conversations without having to have, in the first instance, the terrible experience, we would be in such a better place, wouldn't we? Just in our lives in general, in our well-being, because we'd be clued up and we'd have the sense of things aren't going well at the moment, so I need to take some time out. Things are going badly, or I'm feeling great at the moment, so I feel I can take on some more stuff. We'd have the ability to do that instead of having to experience the lows to then experience the highs.
It's a shame, isn't it? And I don't know how that's going to ever get solved, but you just have to put things in place to educate people the best way they can in so many different forms. People can read a book, some people watch a video, some people need to go to a show, some people need to listen to a radio show. It's however they take it on, but it needs to be more real for me, from what I've heard.
Obviously, touching on your brother's story as well, let's talk about your dad as well, because Parkinson's, dementia, we've got family experience in our family as well in regard to both of those things. And when one turns into the other, and then people say, oh, how's he getting on? Or how's she getting on? And you think, there ain't ever going to be good news here. If you ask me that, I'm not going to say, oh, it turns out everything's fine, they're getting better. They're not getting better. Things are getting worse, and things are getting worse all the time.
It's horrendous. He asked me where I'm working. He set the company up, where are you working at the minute and stuff like that. He can't walk more than a few steps without falling. He's, covered in bruises and cuts and stuff. And it's not in a good way. It's, again, just... I remember when Dad told me he had cancer, I just thought, oh my God, is he going to die? Because that's where I went straight away, is like, he's going to die, that's it. And then learning about cancer, then learning about Parkinson's, and then now learning about dementia, it's very difficult. But again, like you say, when people ask you how they're going, it's like, it's not going well, so don't bother asking me. But you have to understand that they haven't got that They haven't got that. You can't vent your anger on them because they don't understand. You just got to have that.
That phrase, resilience, I don't necessarily like it, but I think particularly when we talk about things like Parkinson's and dementia and you're seeing it in somebody else, it is about your own personal resilience, because you have an acceptance of, not that it's a cancer and it leads to a death, but you've got an ongoing situation. It's
like a long death. I have counselling for finding Tom and going through all that, and it's worse, I think, than just losing someone suddenly, because you just see him fading away in front of you all the time. There's nothing you can do about it at all. It's very difficult to deal with, I find.
Yeah, I think again, we talk about the stigma around mental health, we talk about the stigma around suicide. I think there is such a lack of understanding about what Parkinson's is, what it means, and people sort of thinking that things will get better, or that things will improve, or that, a course and treatment are going to, shake somebody up a little bit. And in the experience that we've got within our own family, it hasn't happened, and it isn't happening, and things are getting worse. Yeah, and the rates of degradation might change. Yeah. Fine. But actually, it's heading.
Whoever that person is, unfortunately, going to die sooner than you think. They die for sometimes, get injured and die of whatever because of that. But yeah, the guy, the manager of one of the homes, he said, look, he's got dementia. He could last about 10, 12 years maximum. That's quite a tough conversation to have when someone just says it quite freely like that. So I think it's when a lot of people have Parkinson's, don't they? But you just think it is nothing. But actually, it's massive for that family. And then, but you just deal with it, don't you? But it probably has effect on you every single second of every day. Well, it definitely does for me, anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my wife, she went through getting a power of attorney, and just that in and of itself. And we talk about just day-to-day mental health. The responsibility that you take on is huge, but then when you have to sign off paperwork that says I am taking responsibility for this person's accounts, and you're asking them to sign things that basically says yes, you're in control. And roles within families change as well. That's the other thing.
It's weird, isn't it? That
little sisters become big sisters. Fathers become sons, and sons become, and the whole thing shifts around.
Yeah. It's a really unusual situation, isn't it? And again, that affects your mental health. You don't realise, do you, at the time? Sometimes you do stuff, don't you? You might sign that piece of paper, and right then it doesn't matter. About a week later or a day later or something, you start thinking, wow, is this actually happening to me? Am I watching a programme or reading a book here? No, it's actually happening to me.
What are you doing sort of day to day? You mentioned the counselling there for losing your brother.
About work, yeah. So since Tom passed away, I mean, before we've always had things in place, and we did usual stuff, team building stuff, and we've always had an open door policy, really, at our place. We've got about 15 of us work at the head office, and quite a lot of temporary staff, about 400, and then 20 franchises across the UK, and they have numbers. But we sort of try and keep that ethos throughout the company. But after Tom passing, for me, my mind was overthinking. I'm a massive overthinker anyway. I always have been. I've got a big imagination, which can be good and bad. But yeah, so I started doing yoga. Not loads of exercises. It was more for the meditation side, and I did it, and I loved it. Being able to stop that thought process. It's mad that, being able to stop your thought process. So, did a few classes. I thought, I'm bringing this in work. Now we've done it for 12 months. Every 2 weeks, we offer it to all the office staff. They all do it. And then agency staff as well. So, any agency worker that works for us in the Northwest, every other 2 weeks, you can come in and do a free yoga meditation class. We also have a mindful coach. He comes and does an hour with all the staff in the office, and we open that up to agency staff as well. If you want to come and sit in, talk to you about slowing your thoughts, so dealing with things, slowing your thought processes down. The Chimp, if you ever read the book, I don't know.
That's a Steve Peters reference.
Yeah, and then so we bought everyone gym membership, because exercise, for me, I go to the gym every single morning at 5 o'clock, 5 in the morning, because I think, again, that gives you time to think about things, get things off your chest, let off some steam. So everyone at work, in fact, I did the membership, and there was only 2 people that went to the gym. Pretty much all of them have gone or go on a pretty much regular basis. So DW membership, and then agency staff, because we bought the membership for all our staff, they got corporate membership. So even a temporary staff member just take their ID badge in, and they get no joining fee and a discount on it. So just trying to feed out as best I can.
It's quite funny, because when you set up a business and you look through all the health and safety rules, if it's a building site, it's hard hats, and it's the boots, and it's if you're doing long distance lorry driving, it's the amount of time you can spend on the road. But actually, in regard to sort of mental health, how much you're going to put your staff through, what hours you're going to demand of them, how many emails you're going to be sending them after 8 o'clock on a Sunday night. those things aren't really considered. Those things we've almost accepted as the norm, that actually your boss can ring you at any time, that your mental health doesn't really matter. There's going to be stress, and if there's not stress, you're probably not doing the job correctly.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
But you've obviously thought, you know what, with the experience I've had, I'm just going to flip that all around and actually proactively say, I want my staff to have positive mental health. I want them to be in a better place.
Yeah, if they come and talk to me about something, and honestly, it's changed everything. I know, look, every small business in the world hasn't got the money to do that. I'm in a fortunate position where I can put gym membership, I can pay for yoga, I can pay for a mindful coach. We do sports massages every month as well. But I was talking to someone who has quite a large charity. I'm a chairman for a charity, and I was talking to the chief exec the other day, and he said, what do you think we could do? Because he's got 400 staff, permanent members of staff. And I was like, well, they've put a counselling line in, so it's 24-hour free one. But I said it's also taking it to a level where all your managers are really mindful of stuff, so they can also deal with it at that level. Obviously, they can't always spend 2 hours with someone talking about something, but they need to be able to address it the best way they can, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing, is that sometimes people think you've got to have this incredible policy that comes down from Hannah. You can have it if you just say, you know what, if it's your birthday, take a day off.
Yeah.
You know, if you got your kids doing a school play, take the afternoon off.
Yeah.
That's fine. But it's about being able to have that relationship, knowing that they'll respect you and think, well, I'll get me work done.
Yeah.
So that then I can go and do these things. But they can have that honest conversation with you. And I think sometimes workplaces, they sort of tie themselves in knots trying to look like they're a great place to work.
Yeah, but actually not being a great place to work, because they're pushing things on them or thinking of things that they do. It's like when Tom died, I found him at the bottom of the stairs. The next day, Mum was away, and I'd walked out of a massive meeting to go, because I was like, where the hell's Tom? He's disappeared. And I went back into work. I had 2 weeks off work before I went back in. And it wasn't a question about how the capacity of the staff. They just cracked on. They would just work as hard as they were if we were in work. And I don't know, sometimes because we always treated them that well anyway, but we put these extra stuff in for them. But I think because of the way we have that mindset, we've had it. You know.
I just wanted to mention as well, Ryan, because we're on the radio. You're a bloke.
Yep.
I think people sometimes presume that men don't want to talk about mental health as well. You know. You're about 6 foot tall, 6 foot something.
Yeah, 6'3".
You make a decent rugby league player,
19,
right?
19 stone.
No one's going to be telling you that real men don't talk about their mental health.
No,
real men just suck it up and deal with it.
They need to talk about it. Yeah, they need to talk about it, because there's so many things you've got to think about, isn't there, as a bloke anyway. You know, ego is like, what a massive one, isn't it? Like, how do I deal with my ego on a day-to-day basis? So I think, men definitely need to be able to speak about it. But I think it's, for me with mental health, if you've got challenges or you've got thoughts, it's you choose someone to talk to. And I think this can go quite deep here with this. When you've got challenges yourself and you're overthinking about things, you don't always have, you know, people say, oh, I'm here to talk. I seen someone post something the other day saying, any of my brothers want to talk, you know, I'm here to talk. But if you've ever had a mental health problem, or, you know, have had challenges yourself, you don't always want to just talk to anyone. You pick someone. And then this is where I go a bit deeper, is where you've got to be careful. If you're that type of person who say to people, you ever need to talk, I'm here. If someone rings you and they're trying to reach out to you, make sure you get back to them, because they might have taken 3 days to muster up the courage to speak to you, and you haven't answered that phone or got text them back, then that could be a massive detrimental effect to that person. So you just be really careful if you're going to go around spouting that, saying, I'm going to be here for you, I'm going to be a bloke, I'm going to be that, blah, blah. You need to be there for them, because that person might have just mustered up the colour for hours to decide to reach out to you.
I think so, and I think that's that thing, isn't it, whereby, and people might go, I don't need to bother with this mental health stuff because it doesn't affect me. But you might be the person that somebody comes, so you might be, you know, it might be the person who you were best man for at his wedding. Yeah. It might be a bloke from the office. It might be somebody in the it might be anyone. Yeah. They might come to you, and what are you going to do? Yeah. And you're just going to shrug your shoulders in their hour of need and kind of go, what? You've got to
get
yourself clued up.
Yeah. I think you've got to be really careful about, you know, if someone comes to you or something, you've got to be like mindful about how you're going to deal with that situation. If you don't understand about how people are feeling on mental health, how they're going to deal with it, addiction. I keep mentioning the word addiction just because it's been close to me, but any sort of challenges, you just be able to receive it the best way you can. Yeah,
and that's the thing. And we'll say to people now, what do you do? Well, if they are in a situation where they're in danger of harming themselves, you can call 999. Yeah. You can go with them to a GP appointment. You can go to a website like the Hub of Hope, and you can find local mental health services close to them and go along with them. Yeah. Drop them off. pick them up,
Yeah.
make sure they go in,
Whatever you can
or
do.
just sit outside them if they don't want to go in just yet.
Yeah. I'll sit and talk to them for a bit and just see if we can get anything out of them, get them off the chest, see if they feel better about things, talk to their loved ones and friends. Do they know about it? Can we touch base with someone? And
Samaritan's numbers. Talk Liverpool's a great example as well. The Hub of Hope has got loads of these, by the way. You can even go on there, go back to them.
Yeah, we're bringing people in. We did one company called Wise Up. It's a friend of mine who does about addiction. He came in the other day, and that was quite big for us because we had quite a few people sort of want to get in touch and talk to them after. So I think if you have a business, maybe get some people in to talk to your staff.
Absolutely, because that's the other thing. Sometimes people think, oh, I've got to be the person who's going to, in some cases, talk somebody down from a ledge. But actually, there are experts who are...
Yeah.
Like, if your mate comes to you and went, I've broken my leg, you won't go, right, fetch
I'll
me a
fix
bandage
it, yeah.
and I'll have a go. They'll go, right, I can't help you, but I can get you to the people who can. And I think that's the signposting.
Yeah, I think if you have a business and you haven't got a clue about anything, you're sat here listening to this thinking, I ain't got a clue about mental health or drugs or anything like that. So, right, get on the internet, find some places to do it, bring them into workplace, educate yourself and your staff so everyone can then benefit from it and their families can benefit from it. Invite their families to the do. I invited everyone. It was completely free for 2 days, and I'm going to do it again every month or every quarter, depends on their diary, and just invite anyone who wants to work for us or their family to come with it so that you can educate not just the person who works for you, their family as well.
And I think that's the thing whereby you doing it, you go, oh, I did this training. And they go, oh, what was it like? Oh, it was a bit of this, it was a bit of that. And they go, oh, that seems quite normal. So if they get offered it, they're more like, oh, yeah, that's that thing that Ryan was talking about. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, sometimes I think people still presume that mental health training is everyone's going to go zen.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, sitting cross-legged and all, which actually might be part of it. But as you proved, that's quite a good bit.
Yeah, I quite liked it, yeah.
Just tell about the organisation. It's obviously sizable given the experience that you've shared with us on the show, and it's called Tezlom now, officially renamed. Les and Tom flipped around.
It stands
Tezlom.
for transparency, equality, loyalty, zealous, loyalty, organic and motivation. But that's the corporate world on an invoice, going to business meetings and stuff. But anyone knows us, that's what it really means.
And in terms of how you sort of see things moving forward, obviously the situation with your dad and you got the ongoing counselling with your brother as well. Again, there'll be difficult times ahead. I imagine there will be for all of us.
It's the 17th of October, my brother's anniversary. I've got an idea what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to let out the bag yet. I'm just going to do something good and positive on that day, I think, and just go forward. That's the only way I can deal with it. But, suicide changes everything for me. Like, people, they don't understand. People do understand if they've been through it, but it changes everything. Build up to it's difficult. The day's going to be difficult. I know it's going to be difficult afterwards. Every day's difficult. It can go from morning to afternoon, actually.
Yeah, I'm absolutely certain of it. We wish you all the best for that day and hope that you and the family are okay throughout that time as well and beyond. Do come back on the show and let us know how the things that you're doing and the incredible things you're doing through the organisation as well. Tezlom, have you got a website that people can go to?
Just Tezlom.com, Tezlom.com.
Ryan Armitage, thank you for sharing your story. Thanks for joining us on Mental Health Monday.
Cheers, thanks for having me.
Don't forget, if you want to find mental health services close to you, I mentioned them before, I'll mention them again. The Hub of Hope is a good place to go because it's a database for mental health services, hubofhope.co.uk. You can type in your postcode there. You can also use the whereabouts location device on your app, and it'll find it using the app on iOS and also on Android as well. Check out the Hub of Hope. It's Radio City Talk, Mental Health Monday, every Monday.
Mental Health Monday with Mick Coyle.
Radio City Talk.